what's going on everyone? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be testing out the 3 speed profiles that came with version 13. So we've got chill, standard, and hurry, and we're going to test all 3 profiles at 4 different locations. We're going to start off here in town through a quick loop of 25 and 35 mile per hour roads. Some of these have bad map data that tells the car that the speed limit is lower than what it actually is. So I want to see if the 3 profiles are affected by that at all. Then we're going to go to another stretch of 35 mile an hour road with correct map data to see if it handles that any differently. Then we're going to be going to a city highway that was actually in my last video, and we'll talk about that more here in a bit, but the speed limit there is 55 miles per hour. Then we're going to close the video out on the interstate. So before we get started on the actual testing, I want to take a second to explain the speed profiles, the max speed offset, and how the scroll wheel affects that to anybody who's not overly familiar with it. But if you are familiar with it already and you want to skip straight ahead to the testing, I'll put a timestamp up on the screen and the video will have chapters so you can move forward to that part. So for the people that aren't overly familiar, like I said, you do get 3 speed profiles, chill, standard, and hurry. And Tesla gives us short descriptions of each one in the autopilot menu. So the hurry profile says that it drives faster with more frequent lane changes. The standard profile says it drives at normal speed and adjusts with traffic. And then the chill profile says it drives in slower lanes with minimal lane changes. And you may be thinking that those descriptions sound like they're aimed towards highway driving, but as you'll see through the testing, the profiles are definitely making a difference on city streets as well. Now the max speed offset, I've got it set at plus 40%, and that's what Tesla recommends. And I've seen confusion in the comment sections on some of my other videos of people thinking that that means that the car is going to go 40% above the speed limit. I assure you that's not what that means. It just means that it can if the context is right. So for instance, if you're in a situation where all the traffic around you is moving significantly over the speed limit and it's not safe for you to be going slower than them, this gives the car the leeway to do that. Another good example is everybody drives a couple mile an hour over the speed limit, so it allows the car to do that. And then as you'll see in this video, when you've got roads with bad map data that tell the car that the speed limit is way lower than it actually is, you want that cushion built in so that the car can do what it knows is right. And last thing before we start testing, you'll see me adjust the speed, the max speed with this scroll wheel. When I scroll it upward to increase that, that is not me telling the car to go faster. That's just me raising that max speed offset. And as you'll see, when I increase that, the car may not even speed up. It's just giving the car more availability to go faster if it needs to. And the reason I'm going to do that is because I don't want this video and our testing of the speed profiles to be hindered. So like for instance, on a 25 mile per hour road, if the car wants to go above 35 mile per hour, which is 40% over 25, I want it to be able to do that for the sake of testing. So let's go ahead and get into the driving and testing portion now. We're going to start off on the hurry profile and we'll go ahead and engage now. But I do want to give 1 second. We've got a car coming up from the left. I don't want them to slow us down at all. So let's take a second, let them pass, and then we'll engage. Okay, they were driving extremely slow, so I wanted to go ahead and let them pass. We got another car coming up from the left. I'm going to let them pass too. Okay, let's get the show on the road. So first thing I want you to pay attention to, the top left corner of the display, the speed profiles are not activated until you see chill, standard, or hurry pop up there. And I want you to pay attention to how long it takes for it to activate. We'll talk about that quite a bit throughout the video. Now, some of the other stuff we're going to pay attention to as we go. Speed profile just turned on. Some of the other stuff we'll pay attention to as we go. Not just the max speed that the car decides to go, but how fast it accelerates, how fast it decelerates, and how fast it takes turns. Because all of that stuff, from what I can tell, is affected by the speed profiles. So we're off to a pretty interesting situation immediately, kind of got the road blocked. We'll let the car go around and see how it handles all this. So we're getting ready to pass the 25 mile per hour speed limit sign. We're going to keep an eye on the max speed as we go, and I'm going to go ahead and increase the max speed cap so that if the car wants to go above 35, it can. And you can see we're already up to 33, and the car does feel like it's in a hurry, which you would expect from the hurry speed profile. So definitely already off to an interesting start. I saw us get all the way up to 34, but I want to go back to my previous point I was talking about a second ago. At the beginning of drives, the speed profiles aren't activated, and then as you're nearing your destinations, they also turn off. And that can be kind of problematic because when they're not activated, the car drives super slow, almost like it's got this weird fourth speed profile. And sometimes that has like a weird dynamic to it. That fourth speed profile, when none of the other three are active, kind of feels like it's intended for low speed situations like parking or like really, really low speed, maybe neighborhood roads, stuff like that. But it almost feels like that's actually the baseline and that the speed profiles just make modifications to that when they're engaged. So I'm paying attention to this. We're reaching 35 at this point. This is the quickest we've gotten up to yet. We're up to 36, 37. So like I was saying, it's like the speed profiles make modifications to that baseline, and sometimes there's this weird, almost, for lack of a better way of saying it, like a tug of war between the baseline and what the speed profiles want the car to do, because it feels like the car wants to drive slow, but then the speed profiles turn on and they start telling it like, hey, you need to speed up, you're not going fast enough, this isn't the right speed for this situation. And sometimes you can, it's ever so slight, but you can feel that the car wants to slow down, but it's like somebody just barely taps the pedal and speeds it back up. So if you've got version 13 and you've noticed that at all, drop a comment down below. Let me know that I'm not crazy. But enough talking about that. We're getting ready to turn onto a road with 35-mile-an-hour speed limit. But like I said at the beginning, the map data on this one is bad and tells it that the speed limit's 25. So I'm going to scroll this wheel up just to make sure that we got plenty of leeway for the car to go whatever speed it wants. And we're pretty much immediately up to 34. We're up to 35 now, which is the speed limit. And sometimes I wonder if the car even pays attention to map data or speed limit signs, or if it just looks at the situation and determines what speed it thinks is right. Let me know what you think about that down in the comments as well. And while we're talking about comments, I just want to say thanks to everybody who's been leaving comments on the videos. I try to reply to all of them. We're up to 38. That's the highest speed we've gotten up to here yet. But just thanks to everybody who leaves comments, 39. I try to reply to all of them as much as I can. I really enjoy the conversation, and some of these videos I've been putting out are actually based on ideas that y'all gave me down in the comments section. Same thing with this video, and I'll explain that more here in a bit. So I think we got up to 38. We might have even touched 39. I'll have to go back at the footage, or go back through the footage and take a look. But we're coming back up to our starting point. So I'm going to go ahead and disengage. We're going to put the car into the standard profile, and we're going to test and see if anything is different there. All right, so we're back at our starting point again. As you can see, this time I've got it in standard. We're going to go ahead and engage and see if anything's different. So I want to go back and talk a little bit more. And once again, we're going to pay attention to how long it takes for that speed profile to pop up. I want to talk about that more for a second, so I can get y'all's feelings on this as well. Near the end of drives, like I was saying a minute ago, the speed profile will deactivate, and when it does that, the car immediately starts slowing down. I've had a bunch of times where I'm like a mile away from my destination and I'm still on a main road, and the speed profiles will turn off and the car just starts driving super slow. I think that's a point that Tesla may need to refine, both how quickly they turn on at the beginning of a drive, because like in this case, you would want it to turn on immediately when we're pretty much starting on a main road. I understand that they probably have it the way that it is because you might want it to stay off while you're pulling out of a parking lot, or if you're in like really tight neighborhoods or something. But so I think that needs a little bit of tweaking. Same thing when you're coming up to your destination. If like your parking spot is right off of the main road, the profile should stay on for longer. Or if you got like a while that you're going to be driving through a parking lot, then it could turn off earlier. Now let's get back to gauging out the three profiles. We're on standard now, and the car is definitely calmer coming through here. The acceleration has been calmer. The speeds that we're reaching, I won't say they're significantly lower, but they definitely are lower. But the thing that stands out to me the most so far is how quickly we're getting up to those speeds. It feels much more reserved and just has an overall less of a rush feeling going on. So I think on this road before we got up to 37, 38. Let's take a look once we get to this straight stretch through here at what speed it decides to go. So right now we're doing 34, we're up to 35. I need to scroll the wheel up to give it a little bit more leeway. That's a really good example of why you want that max speed offset set higher. So it doesn't look like the car wants to go any faster than 35. Hopefully that wasn't because I hadn't scrolled the wheel up yet, but I don't think that it is, because in previous times that I've used these, as soon as I scroll the wheel up, if it wanted to go faster, it starts increasing its speed. So I'm thinking it only wanted to go 35 through here to begin with. So yeah, coming up to the 35-mile-an-hour road with bad map data here in a second, and we'll see what it chooses to do through here. So the city highway that we'll be going to later on in the video, it's a 55-mile-per-hour highway. I wanted to go specifically test on that one because in my last video, which if you haven't seen the good, the bad, the ugly of version 13, go check that one out. It's a pretty good video. But during that one, a car pulls out in front of me on that highway, and my car goes to pass them. And when I go to go around them, they start speeding up, and then my car starts speeding up. And we get into like almost this drag race until we're going almost 25 over the speed limit. And a bunch of people had commented on that one saying that they thought it only did that because the hurry speed profile was on. So I wanted to go test and see if I felt like that was the case. And I definitely want y'all to leave something down in the comments. Let me know what you think about it. But I won't say too much more about it. I don't want to ruin it, and you'll get to see it when we get to that point in the video. But once again, we're going a lot slower through here. I think 36 is the highest speed that we've gotten up to. Now, I really hope those people that we passed by a minute ago get to wherever they're going. I always find it really awkward when I'm doing a test loop like this and I continue to pass the same people over and over and over again. I always feel like they're going to think I'm stalking them. But so we got up to 36 here, and we got up to 35 on the other road, which is definitely slower than we were on the hurry speed profile. So we're coming back up to our starting point. I've gone ahead and disengaged. We're going to put it in chill and see how it does. All right, here we go. One more time around this loop. You can see we've got it in the chill profile. We'll go ahead and engage and see if this one's noticeably different. Now I am going to, as soon as the speed profile is engaged this time, I'm gonna go ahead and increase the max speed just so we don't hit that cap again this time around. But once again, we're gonna watch and see how long it takes for the speed profile to engage, and just note how slow the car is going right now. The speed limit on this road is 35, and while this profile is off, we're just driving super slow, and honestly, it feels like the car just wants to pull off to the side of the road. So that's pretty interesting behavior. So this is the longest so far in this video that it's taken for the profiles to engage. Hopefully they'll come on here in a second, and we'll get a good feel for what chill does through here. So while we're waiting on that, and while we're keeping an eye on everything, a big thanks to everybody who subscribed to the channel recently. We are like so close to hitting the 500 subscriber mark. That's absolutely crazy to me. And I just really appreciate everybody who's been watching, liking the videos, commenting. Like I said in the previous clip, I really enjoy all the conversation down in the comments section. So just thanks to everybody. So you can see here, we're a pretty decent way into this drive, and the speed profile has not turned on yet. So hopefully it'll turn on soon, because I really want to get a good comparison between them. But this is a really good example of it's just now turning on. And if you noticed how slow the car was driving before, I can immediately feel it start speeding up. So like I said in the first loop around, it's like you've got this baseline and the speed profiles make corrections to it. And it's so noticeable the moment that the speed profile turns on, the car automatically begins acting differently. But speaking of acting differently, we're going much slower this time around, and the acceleration is very calm, exactly what you would expect out of the chill profile. And so we're coming up to that stretch of straight road here. I do want to have some full transparency though. This beginning section through this loop, I already filmed this all one time, but then thanks to the wonderful GoPro, I lost all of that footage, so I am refilming this. So after we get done with this loop, the rest of the video was actually filmed on was filmed yesterday. So I just had to go back and redo this section again. Now, we're actually up to 36 coming through here right now, which is pretty interesting. That's 1 mile an hour above what the standard profile did. But one way or another, the acceleration has been much slower. So there is a difference. And I think I said it in the beginning, the speed profiles don't just affect the max speed, they affect acceleration, it seems like deceleration, the speed that it takes curves. So we might still get up to the same max speed on different profiles. It's just how it handles everything as a whole that changes between them. So let's see what it does on this next stretch. I think in the last one we got up to, shoot, I'm having a hard time remembering all these numbers. I think somewhere around 38, but of course I'll flash it up on the screen so we get exact numbers. So here we go. Once again, acceleration is really calm. I have a feeling we're getting ready to pass these people for the third time. All right, now they're gone, good. That was gonna be real awkward. But acceleration real calm. We've only gotten up to 32 so far. So yeah, it's pretty much what you would expect. As we've stepped down from hurry to standard to chill, the speed that it's gone and the acceleration rates have calmed. So 33 is, I believe, the highest we've gotten up to so far on the speed or the chill speed profile on this road. And we're coming up to the end of this loop, so we'll keep an eye on it, but it doesn't feel like, okay, we are up to 34. It doesn't feel like the car wants to go any faster than this, and I don't really expect it to. All right, we are up to 35, so we're starting to speed up a little bit. Up to 36. But just notice how long it took to get up to that point. All right, so we're at the end of this loop. I do think I might actually go back. I'm not going to start at the same point, but since I had forgotten to scroll the wheel up on standard until it actually hit the cap during the second run, I'm going to go back to that section real quick, won't take very long, and have the speed adjusted correctly and see if it does anything different. So I'll be back in just a sec. Okay, so we're back on that road. You can see I've got it back in the standard setting. I'm going to go ahead and engage. I've got us at 29 miles per hour right now. I want to point out that the moment I engaged while we were already rolling, the speed profile is immediately activated. That's a clear difference between when you're starting from a stop using the button on the screen. I guess the difference there is when you hold down that button, the car has to like make a determination whether or not it needs to back up or how it needs to get out of whatever situation it's in. And as far as I can tell, if the speed profiles aren't activated, then the car can't go into reverse. So I guess when you use that button, it starts off with them not activated to figure out if it needs to do any of that jazz. And then eventually it does activate it, like I said earlier, in my opinion, too late. But anyway, we're immediately activated. We're coming up to that straight stretch. I'm going to go ahead and scroll the wheel up so that we don't hit the cap. And I thought this would also be a good test to see if hitting that cap and then scrolling the wheel makes it behave any different than already having the cap set higher. So we're up to 35 now. We're up to 36, 37. So we are going about 2 miles per hour above where we did when I hit the cap and then used the scroll wheel. So hard to tell if it really makes a difference or not, or if maybe it just chose to go a different speed this time around. But anyway, we're gonna go ahead and move on to that next stretch of 35 mile per hour road that has correct map data, and we'll see if the car behaves any differently through there. So see you back here in a second. Okay, so I found another road I want to do some testing on. This one's just one long straight line pretty much. Now it's got some curves and everything in it, but it's one straight road, 35 miles per hour. I think the map data on this road is actually correct, so I want to test that out and see if that makes any difference. We're starting out in the speed profile, or the hurry speed profile, and we're kind of faced backwards in this parking lot just because I think it's cool to show FSD turn around. So let's go ahead and get started on this test. So it's choosing to go forward first. Now, if it wants to, it can either do a 3-point turn or it could kind of sweep and come around. I think it's going to choose to do the 3-point turn though. Yep, that's what it's choosing to do. Nothing wrong with that at all. And it does this beautifully. No complaints at all about how it does its 3-point turns. And the wheel is just so smooth during all of it. We're not there yet, and I'm not trying to say that we are, but Robotaxi in the future, it's coming. Okay, so we should turn right out of here. And like I said before, we're starting off on hurry. So we're gonna see 1, how long it takes for the speed profile to turn on, 2, what speed the car chooses to go, and then 3, how hard it takes some of the curves on the road. And that's what we're gonna be comparing in all 3 of them. So the hurry speed profile is already on well before we even got to this like change in pavement right here. So that's kind of what we'll use as our marker for the next 2 tests. So map data speed limit is correct. It's saying 35. We're already doing 34. Now, I will say most people drive through here way over the speed limit. It's nothing to see people come through here at 45. I personally drive through at about 40, so we'll see what it does. Right now, it's definitely going slower than I would be going. But it's starting to speed up, and once again, I can just feel that. It's so subtle, but I can just feel it. It's like something's telling the car, hey, speed up a little bit more. It's like this little, it almost feels like a manual intervention where somebody's tapping the pedal just to make it speed up a hair. I'm so interested to see if anybody else has noticed that. I haven't heard anybody else talk about it yet, but it's like the acceleration is always really smooth up to a point where it feels like that's the speed that the car wants to go, and then you can feel that speed profile start to make adjustments to it. So we're up to 43 now, we're 8 over. So I want to keep a mental note of what the fastest speed we get up to is. We're up to 44, we're up to 45. Okay, we're back down to 44. We're actually passing a speed limit sign. Car slowed down a little bit after passing that, but at 1 mile an hour, it might have just done that anyway, and we're back up to 44 now. So the max we've hit so far is 45. And like I said before, it is not uncommon for people to drive through here at 45. I'm sure plenty of Teslas have driven through here at 45. Maybe they've uploaded data that's actually in the model. That would be cool. I'd always like to know if my video data's in the model. I try to drive good so that it makes its way in there, but it'd be cool if they did like read receipts or something like that to where you could see it. So we're at the end of the road. I'm gonna turn around, we're gonna go back, we're gonna try it on standard, and then we'll try it out on chill. Okay, so this time we are in the, where's it at? Standard speed profile. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit the start button. Let's see what it does this time around. Now on the last run in hurry, the fastest speed that we got up to was 45. So we're gonna pay attention to that. And we're gonna once again pay attention to how it takes curves and how quickly the speed profile kicks on. So last time it kicked on right about now. And same thing here. So it's about the exact same distance away from where we started that the speed profile turned on. As you can see, we are in standard. Let's see what it does. Sticking pretty solid at around 33 at the moment. I think we were going a little bit faster than this on the last run. All right, we're up to 35 now. Now, I did think it was interesting. I didn't say anything, but let's see if it does it again. I like how it's giving this car on the side of the road some room. It's ever so subtle, but it's real smooth and, you know, probably not necessary because it's parked, but it feels good. I'd probably end up doing the same thing whether I even realized I was doing it or not. Noticeable speed difference this time. We're going much slower than we were before. Let's see what it does once we get out of this curve. That's when it really started speeding up, and I can feel it speeding up now. So like I said before, we got up to 45 on hurry, which is what a lot of people drive through here at. Now, once again, I don't. I drive through here at around 40 to 42, but let's see what it does here. This is about when it was really speeding up on hurry. Yeah, big noticeable difference here. I remember when we passed this this speed limit sign on the last one, we were doing around 45. Right now we're doing about 38. This is much more subdued than it was in the last one. Interesting. All right, we're up to about 40 right now. I can't remember if we've hit 41. I forgot to mentally note what the fastest speed we got to on standard was. Of course, I'll watch back the footage and I'll put it up on the screen. But yeah, very noticeable difference from the hurry speed profile coming through here. So I'm going to take over once again because we're at the end of the road, and we are going to go back and we're going to try it out on chill. Okay, here we go on chill. You can see, got it set on chill. Still the 40% max speed offset. See what we get this time. So first time around, max speed we got up to was 45. Second time around, somewhere in the neighborhood of, I'll put it up on the screen, but somewhere around 40, 41-ish. Let's see this time what speed we decide to go, and let's see how quickly the speed profiles turn on. So they should turn on here in about the next 10 feet. There we go. So that's pretty consistent on each start through this road. Okay. Off to about the same start that we were on both of the other ones. As we go, though, let's see if it decides to speed up. It doesn't feel like it has any plan to speed up right now. I think by this point on the other ones, we were about up to 33. So this is feeling pretty chill right now. We're coming up on that car that's parked on the side of the road. Let's see, we got an oncoming car, so we might not be able to offset for it too much. This ought to be interesting. Yeah, I waited for them to pass, and just ever so slight offset. So the highest we gotten up to so far was 33. We're up to 34 now, 35. It's feeling very calm through here. It would be interesting to do one of these like blind, maybe put a piece of tape over there and have a passenger choose which one's which and see if I can tell the difference. So we're up to 36, 37. See if it gets up to 38 once we get out of this curve. Yep, it's going to. I can feel it. 38. Might even get up to 39. There we go. Back down to 38. So at this point on hurry, we were doing about 44. I think on standard, we might have been a hair faster than this, not by very much. We're back to 39 now. I don't think we've hit 40 yet, which is definitely a difference. We are going a tad bit slower. We might touch 40 here for a second. There we go. We've hit 40. We're actually up to 41. Might even get up to 42. Yeah, there we go. Are we going to hit 43? Nope, slowing back down, and we're coming up to the end of the road now. So before we go hit the highway, I'll just say that I think there's a lot at play with these speed profiles. It's more than what I was initially thinking. Initially, I was thinking that it was just about the overall speed that it decided to go. And I think that's obviously it's a factor because we went way faster on the hurry than we did on chill just now. But I think some of it also has to do with how quickly it gets up to that speed. Because even though we reached some of like the same speeds between hurry or between standard and chill, it didn't feel the same. It felt more lackadaisical when it was on chill. Like it was not in a rush to get up to that speed. So I think there's multiple things at play there. The rate of acceleration, the overall speed's obviously something, how hard it goes into turns. So there might be a little bit more to the speed profiles than what I was thinking, but let's go hit the highway real quick and let's see how it does there. All right, we're coming up to that highway now. I've timed it so that we have nobody in front of us. First, we're gonna do hurry, so I've just switched over to that. Once we get up to this red light, I'll go ahead and engage FSD. All right, we're on. This is, oh, I don't have a navigation point entered. I need to fix that really quick. All right, we got our navigation entered. I'm on the hurry speed profile. Like I was saying a second ago, this is the road where my car kind of got into that drag race battle with another car that was trying to pass me. That's in my good, bad, and ugly video of version 13. Like I said before, make sure you go check that out. It's pretty good, and that was a pretty funny clip. So, like I said, we're on hurry. Speed limit through here is 55. In version 12, this is about as fast as it would go. It would just get stuck right here, which was so annoying, but I'm not going to complain about that anymore. We're already up to 55. That's beautiful. I love it. Now, in that good, bad, and ugly video during that drag race, we got up to almost 20 over. So let's see what it does this time around. Hopefully we'll make it through this green light, but if not, that's fine. Yeah, it looks like we're going to make it through. So right now we're at about 57, and I can feel it starting to speed up as we go through that intersection. We're about to hit 60, 61, 62. I can feel it. It's still climbing. Going to get up to 65. Nope, of course I said that and then it slowed back down. Here we go, we're going for it again. in my opinion, pretty reasonable speed for the hurry speed profile to go. If it wanted to go a touch faster than this, it wouldn't surprise me, but if I was in a hurry, this is about the speed I would go through here, so it's living up to its name once again. I don't usually go much faster than 65 through here, unless that's the flow of traffic and I'm just trying to keep up with everyone. But yeah, at that point in that Good, Bad, and Ugly video, we were already doing about 70 through here. And what was happening, I was actually in the left lane. We were on the hurry speed profile, and there was a car in the right lane. I just had my foot over the pedal in case that was a cop. I didn't touch anything though. There was another car in the right lane, and they had like pulled out in front of us, and I can tell that they were trying to speed up and merge over in front of us, but it's like my car wasn't having any of it. It did not want to let them over, and it just kept on speeding up and speeding up and speeding up. So yeah, it was pretty funny. Go check it out. But I'm gonna go ahead and disengage once we get up to this light. I'm gonna turn around and we're gonna come back through on the standard profile. So I think the top we got to was 64 there. If it did get any higher, I'll flash it up on the screen. But in my personal opinion, that was about perfect for the hurry profile. That's about the exact same speed I would have come through here if I was in a hurry. And let's see what it does on standard. Okay, so we're back at that intersection again, or back up the same starting point for this stretch of highway. We're in the standard speed profile this time. I think last time the highest we got up to was about 64, 65-ish. Let's see what it does on standard. Just gotta wait on the light. Now I'm hoping, we do have a little bit more traffic around us this time. I'm kind of hoping that that doesn't influence the car too much. I was kind of hoping that just like last time, we'd only really have like one car that was kind of distantly behind us, because I know that traffic around the car does impact it. But if I feel like it is, I will reshoot this clip just to be sure that we get a fair comparison between the three. Okay, here we go. On standard. Now, right off the bat, I feel like the acceleration's a little bit calmer this time. Now, with the silver SUV speeding up next to us, I felt it get a little bit more on the pedal, but overall, it feels pretty calm. Now, we've got this green light up here, and we got a car in front of us. Hopefully, that doesn't mess us up too bad. Okay, cool. The light turned green. They're all accelerating, and we're actually slowing down for some reason. Pretty noticeable difference between last time and this time. Even with traffic around us, we're going much slower. So we're doing like right at the speed limit. All right, now we're starting to speed up. We're up to about 60. Got this SUV next to us, which is like pouring out black smoke. I don't know if you can see that on the camera or not, but car's pouring out black smoke and they're smoking a cigarette. It's nice. So we're up to 62, 63, back down to 62. We're definitely going slower than we were on hurry. The car feels in less of a hurry. All right, we're back up to 63, back down to 62. So I was saying at the beginning of this video that sometimes it feels like the car is almost fighting itself on what speed it wants to go. Like it's got the model wants to go a certain speed, and then the speed profiles want it to go faster than that. And I almost feel those two playing like a game of tug of war right now. We're also doing a good job slowing down really early for this red light up here. It seems to be able to see further on version 13, which would make sense with the higher resolution. So I'm gonna go ahead and take over once again, and we're gonna go around again and try it on chill. But noticeable difference between hurry and standard, not just on the overall speed or the highest speed that it decided to go, but on how it got to that speed. So I'm starting to definitely believe that, as I said a little bit earlier on, there's more to the speed profiles than just the top speed that it decides to go. So be back in a second with chill. Okay, here we go. This time we're on the chill speed profile. Gonna go ahead and engage, and we'll wait for the green light once again. All right, we got the green light, turning left now. Let's see what the speed, the chill speed profile does. So right off the bat, the acceleration is much more tame. It's definitely not accelerating as hard as it did on hurry, or even as hard as it did on standard. You can see my attention monitoring is unavailable. Once again, I'm wearing sunglasses, and anytime I put these on and we've got any kind of sun coming into the car, it just immediately cuts off the attention monitoring. And that's new behavior for version 13. It didn't do it on 12. So far, chill is going way slower than the other two. We're going about 4 under the speed limit. Now that we've gone through the intersection, let's see if it speeds up. It did this in both the other ones, but it was already going much quicker. And when it got through the intersection, it just sped up even more. So we are at the speed limit now. We're doing about 56. Not a whole lot of traffic around us. We got a couple cars behind us and one coming up on the left. But yeah, pretty noticeable difference between the 3 speed profiles through here. That's really interesting. By this point, I think we were doing 60, if not a little bit quicker, on the hurry profile. On this one, we're sticking below 60. All right, we're up to 59. We did hit 60. It's like the car can hear me. So we hit around the same speed on standard, but once again, even though the top speed it got to might be around the same number, how it got to it was much different. It took it much longer, the acceleration was much calmer. So yeah, noticeable differences between the 3. So it looks like the max we're gonna hit on this is 60, and as you can see, I've actually got cars passing me, and as soon as they got out from behind me, we actually slowed down. That's pretty interesting too. So I'm wondering if even though it was on chill, it did speed up a little bit just because they were behind us riding kind of close, and then once they passed, it was like, okay, we can relax again. So I'm gonna go ahead and take over because this is about the point that we got to on the other 2 drives, and I find that to be pretty interesting. Okay, I did decide to go ahead and do some interstate testing real quick. We're in hurry. We got a short stretch of interstate that we're gonna hop on, and we're gonna try out all 3 once again and see what happens. So nice. I like it that it went through that yellow light. Version 12 would have definitely stopped for that. So let's pay attention to how it does merging, the top speed it decides to go, how hard it accelerates, and what lane selections it makes. So merging right now. It's feeling pretty good. It's using the proper amount of acceleration. I like that it didn't completely ride out to the end of the merge lane. It's merging much more human-like than what it used to. Hurry speed profile is putting us in the middle lane almost immediately. We're already up to 73, and we're passing the speed limit sign. It is 60 through here. This is a pretty normal speed for people to go through here. This is a pretty fast stretch of interstate, despite the speed limit being 60. People fly through here, so there's absolutely nothing wrong with the speed that it's deciding to go. Let's see how aggressive it is with passing choices. This truck in front of us is definitely going a little bit slower than we are. I'd imagine it's probably going to pass them, and in about 2 miles we'll take an exit off to the right. Then we will loop around and we'll try out the standard profile. As you can see, I'm getting steering wheel nag because I put my sunglasses on. It's a pretty bad issue for me. I'm interested if anybody else is having that same problem with version 13 and wearing sunglasses. The attention monitoring just keeps falling off and going back to steering wheel nag inputs. But so we're up to 74. I think this is the fastest we've hit. I'm going to try to do a better job of remembering what the fastest speed we got up to is. So far up to 72. I'd imagine pretty soon we're going to start making our way over to the right-hand lane to take our exit. Exit's in 1 mile even right now. So it looks like the fastest we're probably going to hit is 75. Although it may speed back up when it gets over to the right. Yeah, it is speeding back up now. Let's see if we get any faster. We've got this car up here that's probably going to slow us back down. Yeah, so it looks like top speed we're going to have gotten to in hurry is 75. I'd be willing to bet that if we took a longer stretch of interstate, it would get up even higher than that. But like I've seen it get up to 80 before. I've even seen it exceed 80, as long as the traffic around it is going that speed. But like I said earlier in the video, today is Christmas, and I thought it was a good day to come out and test this because there's not that many people on the road, and I wanted to see what the speed profiles do when it doesn't have other cars influencing it. Like, what would the car do if there was not that many people around it? And I think we're getting a good idea of that today. So I'm going to go ahead and disengage here. We're going to loop back around to the starting point, and we're going to try out standard. Okay, here we go on standard, getting ready to merge. This is the same point that we started at in the last one when we were on hurry, so let's see if there's any difference. I think the top speed that we hit last time was 75, so we're going to pay attention to that. Once again, I'm paying attention to how fast it merges, what lane selections it makes. Yeah, so far, doesn't feel like a whole lot of difference. We've merged on, maybe a tad slower on the merge, not very much at all though. Immediately moved over into the center lane. We did the same thing when we were on the hurry speed profile. Right now we are going a little bit slower though, about 2 or 3 miles an hour slower. I think at this point we were doing 73 on the hurry profile. It's sticking closer to 70 this time. Let's see if that adjusts at all as we go. I think moving over to the center lane is not a bad move. A lot of the times I'll just hang out in the right lane on this one if there's nobody in front of me. And right now it would have been fine to stay in either lane. I am glad that neither hurry nor standard got over into the left lane without needing to. I think the only time it got over was when it was passing a truck on the hurry profile. But yeah, we are going a little bit, noticeably a little bit slower on the standard profile. Pretty interesting stuff. So that's pretty much all of our testing so far. We've been able to notice differences between the three, both on city streets, city highways, and interstates. There's been noticeable differences. Sometimes they do pick similar top speeds, but how it gets to those speeds, the amount of acceleration, how long it takes to get up to it, that's definitely fluctuated between the two. I think I might have just seen 72 or 73. I know I saw 72. I think that's the highest we've hit so far. So definitely a little bit calmer on the standard profile. Now we've got somebody passing us over here on the left. The car is speeding up a little bit as they pass us, but now this other Tesla's getting over in front of us. So if we were going to continue speeding up, that kind of just slowed us down. Now we should start making our way over here in a second. We got 0.3 miles until our exit. All right, so I find that pretty interesting. Definitely a little bit slower on standard than it was on hurry. Let's loop back around and see what the chill speed profile does. All right, here we go, round 3. This time we're on the chill speed profile. Let's see what this one does. Same things we're paying attention to, how it merges, the speed it chooses to go, lane selection, all that good stuff. So far, merge is feeling about the same. It's hopping over. Once again, I love that it's not riding the merge lane all the way out. It's getting close to the end of it, but it wasn't really that long of a merge lane to begin with. So immediately we're going slower and we're staying in the right lane. Really, really like that behavior. Not that I would use chill too much on the interstate because I'd definitely go faster through here, but it's nice to know that if I just want to relax or whatever, or for other people who don't really like driving on the interstate, because there's plenty of that, you can put it on the chill speed profile and it is going way slower than it did before. At this point, we had gotten all the way up to like 70. We were in the middle lane. This one is choosing to ride the right lane. It's going just a few miles an hour over the speed limit. I really think that they're probably mainly intended for this anyway, but the speed profiles to me do the best on the interstate. They're really living up to their names through here. Now they're doing really good on city streets too, but I keep saying it throughout the whole video that it's like, they still just feel a little bit awkward or weird in the city. It's like this little, I don't know, there's just this little game of tug of war between the speed that it feels like the car wants to go and what the speed profiles want it to, but I've said that enough times, I'm not gonna keep repeating it. This is about the fastest we've reached so far, 66. So of course, if any of the numbers that I state are wrong, I'm going to put the correct ones up on the screen. But on hurry, we reached all the way up to 75. On standard, I think we reached 72. And then chill, the highest we've gotten up to just now is 67. Noticeable differences between the three of them. The merging was about the same on all three. Nothing that I think if I was blindfolded or whatever that I'd be able to tell the difference in them. But speed-wise, definitely differences. And this just doesn't feel like it's in any sort of a rush, which is how it should be. So, after all that testing, what are my overall thoughts? Well, I really like the speed profiles. I like the fact that it allows the user to kind of adjust FSD to their driving preferences, and I think that's going to help out in the long term with FSD adoption, because now people who want the car to drive a little bit slower have that option, and same thing for the people that want the car to drive a little bit faster. Now, there are some things that still need a little bit of refinement, like how soon the profiles activate at the beginning of a drive, or how early they turn off when you're arriving at your destination. And I get that there are some cases where you might want them to turn on a little bit later, or turn off a little bit earlier. Like maybe if you're driving through a really slow neighborhood, or a really large parking lot, and you just want the car to drive a little bit slower. But as you could see in some of my clips, we were pulling out of a parking lot directly onto a main road, and at times, it took the profiles almost a mile to activate. And the only real problem with that is when the profiles aren't on, the car tends to drive really slow, way below the speed limit, and you just kind of feel like you're in people's way at times. Now, the only other criticisms I can come up with is I do think sometimes it drove a little bit too fast, really only on the 25 mile per hour low speed roads. And I don't even have any complaints with the hurry profile. I think that's exactly what that one's intended to do. And I really don't have an issue with the standard profile either. But if you look back, when we were on chill, there were times we were doing almost 10 over the speed limit on 25 mile per hour roads. And I think they're going to need to tone that down a little bit. In my opinion, that's not chill. I think it should stick a little bit closer to the speed limit. And I do understand that I could have used the scroll wheel to slow the car down manually. But remember, the goal here is autonomy, and if I've got to use the scroll wheel to manually intervene and slow things down, we're not exactly reaching that goal. And I think if everything's working how it's intended to, you just shouldn't have to do that. Now, the only other thing I can come up with, and I talked about this throughout the video, is it does feel like at times the speed profiles are playing a game of tug-of-war with the speed that the car actually wants to go. It's really subtle, and I don't even think you can probably notice it on camera, but you can feel it just slightly while you're sitting in the seat. But I think all of those criticisms are going to be relatively easy fixes for Tesla, and I anticipate they'll get them fixed pretty quickly in future updates, and I'm looking forward to trying that out. Now, a couple other thoughts before we close the video out. I just want to say thanks again to everybody who's been subscribing, watching the videos, liking, commenting. We actually just hit the 500 subscriber mark right before I filmed this conclusion, and that's just absolutely crazy to me. I really appreciate all of you. Last thing, if you're in the market for a new Tesla, make sure you go to eastcoasttesla.com, use my referral link to get up to $2,000 off a brand new Tesla. That is an awesome deal. But anyway, we'll go ahead and end things here. Once again, thanks for watching, and until the next video, see you later.